Hey everyone, welcome back to Code with Poonam. It's day 89 of our 100 days of coding challenge in JavaScript. Today's challenge is all about to find the sum of all even numeric values in an object. So let's proceed to this challenge and we will move towards our VS Code. If we see in the VS Code, we have here our question along with the sample input and output, right? So what is the question? We have to write a JavaScript function to calculate the sum of all even numeric values in an object. And here they have given us the three test cases. So when we write the function, we have to make sure that all the test cases are passed here. Okay. Now we will come down and first of all, we are going to break down our question. So we have to write here what JavaScript function. So I will take this and I'm going to put it over here. After that, what is the next important part? That we have to calculate the sum of all even numeric values in an object. So let us take this and we are going to put it over here. Okay. Now let us come at line number 12 and we are going to define our function name. So we will keep our function name as what? Sum even numeric values. Okay. So let us write it over here with a parenthesis. So this will be our function name. Okay. Now we will come here and we are going to understand how we are reaching to the outputs with respect to our each of the input. So let us come to our first input object. So what we have here, we have A:1, we have B:2, C:, text, D:3 and E:8. Okay. Out of this, what are the numeric values now? We have here what 1, 2, 3 and 8, right? But we have to calculate the sum of all the even numeric values, correct? So out of those numeric values, we are going to consider only our even numeric values. So what are the even numeric values? We have here 2 and we have here 8. So then if you make a sum of it, that is 8 plus 2, what we are going to get 10. That is how we are reaching to this particular output, okay? Now let us go to our second input object. So what we have? X:10, Y:hello, Z:5 and W:4. So from here, what are the numeric values? We have 10, 5 and 4. And out of that, what are the even numeric values we have here? We have 10 and we have 4. So if you then add this 10 and 4, what we are going to get? We will get here what? 14, right? So that is where we are reaching to this output as well, okay? Now let us go to the third input object. So let us read out. So we have here what? M:100, N:200, O:_JS, P:_true and Q:6. Now let us take out the numeric values. So what are those? 100, 200 and 6, right? Now out of that, what are the even numeric values? We have 100, we have 200 and we have 6. So all three are what? Even. So when you add 100 plus 200 plus 6, what we are going to get? We are going to get here 306. So that is why we are getting here 306. Okay. Now we have understood how we are reaching to this outputs, right? From the given input. So on the basis of that, now we will come down and we are going to write our approach. Okay. So I will write here what? Approach. So now first of all, what we are going to do? We are going to extract the values from our object. So we will write here what? Extract the values. Okay. So how we are going to extract the values? We will use here our Object.values method. Okay. So I will write here what? Object.values method. And what does it return? It is going to return me an array of values of that particular object. So I will write it over here. Okay. So suppose if I consider this as our first input object, so I will come here and I'm going to write here what? Obj is equal to this particular object. So how we are going to write it? We will write here what? Object.values, and to this we are going to pass our obj. Okay. So what it is going to return? It is going to return an array, and inside that we are going to have what? All the values of our object. So we will write here what? 1, 2. Then we will have here our text. After that we will have 3 and then we will have 8. Okay. So this will be nothing but our array which we are going to get it, which is going to have our all the values of an object if we are using our Object.values method. Okay. Now from this particular array, we have to extract our even numeric values, right? So I will just take this and I am going to put it over here. Okay. And before this, I will just write here what? Our extract. So let me write here our extract. So extract even numeric values, okay? So how we are going to extract it? We will be using our filter method, okay? So what does this filter method do? This filter method creates a new array with all the elements that passes a test provided by a callback function, okay? Now let us write a syntax. So I will write here what? Our ARR dot filter, okay? And inside that we are going to write here what? Our callback function. So inside this callback function, we are going to write a condition, okay? And if that condition passes out, so we will get a array of our true values, okay? So we will get here what? Our array of true values. And that will be nothing but our elements at the end of the day of that array, okay? So that is what we are going to get it. So now let us see in this context how we are going to use it. So suppose we have this particular array, right? So we will store this inside what? Our obj values, okay? Now let us come down and what we will do? We will use our obj values. So I will write here what? Our obj values dot filter method we are going to write. Inside that our callback function we will be writing, and now here we have to write a condition. So what will be the condition? Let us see, okay? Now here in the condition, we have to make sure that first of all, it is a number, right? Because here in this array, we have a text, correct? We have to calculate the sum of all the even numeric values. So first we have to get our numeric values. Then we will check the even numbers also from that, okay? So for checking out for a numerical values, what we are going to do? We are going to use our type of, right? So I will write here what? Our type of value we can write, or in this case it will be what? Our element, right? So I will write here what? Type of our element should be is equal to number, right? So that is what we are going to write it. And second thing, so this will be for a numerical value check, right? So I'm just writing here what? Numerical value check. Okay. After that, we have to do a check even for a even value, right? So I will write here what? Even value check. So for a even value, what we have to check? That our element should be completely divisible by 2, right? So that is what we are going to write it. So we will be writing here what? Element modulus of 2 is equal to 0. Then it will be an even number, right? And we have to make sure that both of the condition is to be satisfied, right? So that is where we are going to use our AND operator along with it, okay? So I am going to complete now this filter method, okay? So let us write it here once again, and here we will pass our element, right, to this callback function. And here we are going to write here what? Type of element we will write is equal to number. You can do a strict check or a normal check also is fine. Let us take a strict check, okay? So I will write here what? Number, and then we will be writing here our AND operator, and then element modulus 2 is equal to 0. And that is where we are going to get only our even numbers from here, okay? So what will be the output? Then we are going to get it from here. We will get here 2 and 8 from this particular array. So I will write here what? 2 and 8, because these are the only two elements which is going to pass our given condition. So this will be our filter method which we are going to write it. After that, what we have to do? We have to calculate the sum, right? So I will write here what? Calculate the sum. Now to calculate the sum, what we are going to use it? We will be using our reduce method, okay? So what does reduce method do? It is going to execute a reducer function on each element of the array, resulting in a single output value, right? Now, if I have to give you a syntax, what we are going to write it? We will write here what? Our ARR dot reduce we will write. And to this, we are going to pass our callback function, right? And here we will pass our ACC and CV as a params, correct? And we will write here what? Our ACC plus CV, and here we will have to write our initial value, right? So this is our complete syntax which we are going to write it, okay? Now in this context, what we are going to write it now? So this is our output, right? This is nothing but our even numeric values, right? So let us come here and we are going to store inside a variable called as a even numeric values. Okay. So we will use this variable name and we are going to write our reduce method. So we will write here what dot reduce, and in this our callback function will take what our ACC comma 0 and our arrow function, and we will write here what ACC plus CV, right? So what will be our initial value? It will be nothing but our 0. Okay. So this will be our final reduce method which we are going to write it. So here what is our ACC? If I have to say, it is nothing but the accumulator. So whenever we are performing the addition, that is ACC plus CV. So whatever the resultant we are going to get, that will get stored in our ACC. That is why the name is called as what? Accumulator. What is CV? It is nothing but it is referring to our current element of our array. Okay. So let me show you the iteration how it is going to perform. Okay. So what is our initial value in this case? It is nothing but our 0, right? So that is why our ACC will have what? 0 itself. So ACC is equal to 0. And we are working on which array? This array, right? So I will take this and I am going to put it over here. Okay. Now in the first case, what will happen? We will have our ACC as what? 0. Okay. And what will be our CV value? It will be nothing but 2. Okay. So now what we have written? ACC plus CV, right? So we are going to get here what? 0 plus 2, correct? And then the final resultant will be what? It will be 2. So this sum value is going to stored in our ACC. That is why our ACC will now become what? 2. Okay. And what will be our CV value? It is nothing but 8. Okay. So what we are going to write here now? ACC plus CV. So we will get here what? 2 plus 8. That is nothing but what? 10. And if you go above, you will get the same output. That is nothing but the 10. So if we are working with this input object, our output is 10 and we have got the same output here as well. Okay. And then what we will do? We will come here and we will store this into a variable called as a sum. Okay. And we will print this sum variable. Okay. And we will get our final resultant. So I'll just write here what? Final output. And this is our complete approach which we are going to follow, and we are going to implement the same thing inside our function as well. Finally. So let us write our function. So we will write here what? Function, and our function name is what? Sum even numeric values, and we will quickly invoke it. So I'll write here what? Sum even numeric values, right? And we will take our first input object from the above and we are going to put it over there. Okay. So let us take this and we will put it over here. And now let us come here and we are going to receive here as an obj. Okay. Now let us just console our object. So I will write here what? Console.log of obj, and we are going to just test it in the terminal. So I'll write here what? Node 89 challenge and hit enter. If you see, we got our input object, right? After that, what we are going to do? We are going to extract the values from this. So what we will do? First, we will declare a variable called as what? Const obj values. Const बोल के let लिख रही हूँ. So let us write our function. So I will write here what? U से चलेंगे. So let us write our function. So I will write here what? Function, and our function name is what? Sum even numeric values. Okay. And we are going to quickly invoke it. So I will write here what? Sum even numeric values. And to this, we are going to pass our first input object. So let us take this and we are going to come down and we will put it over here. Okay. And now let us receive here as an obj. I will write here what? Obj. And let us just console it out. So I will write here what? Console.log of obj. And now let us just test it. So I will write here what? Node 89 challenge and hit enter. If we see, we got our input object. Okay. Now let us extract the value. So I'll write here what? Extract the values from our obj, correct? So how we can do it? By using our object.values method. So I will declare a variable called as what? Let our obj values is equal to our obj. That means object.values, right? So let us write our function. So we will write here what our function, and our function name is what? Sum even numeric values, and we will quickly invoke it. Okay. So I will write here what? Sum even numeric values, and to this we are going to pass our first input object. So let us take this first input object and we will come down and we are going to pass it over here as an argument. Correct. And let us come here and receive it as an param. So I will write here what? Obj. Correct. And now let us write here console.log of obj and we will just test it out. Was full gay Mary. So let us come here and we will write our function. So function, and our function name is what? Sum even numeric values, and we are going to quickly invoke it. So I will write here what? Sum even numeric values. Correct. Now let us come above and we are going to take our first input object. So let us take this and we will come down and we are going to pass it over here as an argument. Okay. And let us receive here as a params as our obj. Okay. And we will just console it out. So I will write here what? Console.log of obj. Now let us test it in the terminal. So I will write here what? Node 89 challenge and hit enter. If you see, we are going to get our input object. Now what is the next thing we will do? We are going to extract, right, values from that obj. So how we are going to do that? By using our Object.values method. So first of all, what we will do? Let us declare a variable called as what? Let obj values is equal to our Object.values method. We are going to write it. And to that, we are going to pass our obj. And just we will console it out. So I will write here what? Console.log of obj values, and let us see in the terminal what do we get. So I will write here what? Node 89 challenge and hit enter. If you see, we are getting an array of our values of an object, right? So let us come here and check it over here. If you see, we have got here the same, right? 1, 2, text, and 3 and 8, right? It is nothing but the same. Correct. Now we will come down and what we are going to do? We have to now extract our even numeric values, right? By using our filter method. So let us take this and we will just put it over here. And now let us write our filter method. So for that, what I will do? I will declare another variable called as what? Even numeric values. So we will write here what? Our obj values, right? This is the array which is holding our all the values of our object, right? So from this, we have to extract our even numeric values, right? So that is why we are using this obj values, right? Now we will write here what? Dot filter, and to this we will pass our callback function. Okay, and here we are going to pass just our element. Okay, and we are going to write here our condition. So what will be our condition? We are going to write type of our element is equal to number. Correct. And then we are going to use our AND operator, and what we are going to write here? Element modulus of 2 should be is equal to 0. That means what? Completely divisible by 2. And then we are just going to console it out. So I will write here what? Console.log of even numeric values. Okay. And now let us come here and clear the terminal, and we will write here what? Node 89 challenge and hit enter. And we get here our output as what? 2, 8. That means we have extracted our even numeric values. After that, what we have to do? We have to calculate the sum, right? So we will just take this and we are going to write it over here. And for that, we will use our reduce method. So we will declare a variable called as a sum, and in that we are going to store our final output. So what we will take? We are going to take our even numeric values array. Okay, and dot reduce method. And in that, we are going to pass our callback function. And we are going to write here what? Our ACC comma CV, correct? And we will write here our ACC plus CV comma 0, correct? And now let us just console our sum. So I will write here what? Console.log of sum. Now let us come here, clear the terminal and test it out. So I will write here what? Node 89 challenge and hit enter. If you see, we got our output as what? 10. That is nothing but the same, right? We are getting here also same, and in the approach also we calculated and we got our sum is equal to 10 itself. And that is what we are getting here. Now what we will do? We will invoke it 2 times more to pass our other input object. So I will write here what sum of even numeric values. Okay, now let us take our second input object. So we will take this and we are going to pass it to this. So let us pass it over here and let us run in our terminal now. So we will write here what node 89 challenge and hit enter. What do we get? We got here 14 as an output, right? Let us see the output what we are getting. We are getting 14 itself, okay? Now let us take this third input object also and let us come down. First, we are going to invoke it, okay? And to this, we will pass our input object. So let us pass it and let us come here and we will write here what node 89 challenge and hit enter. If you see, we are getting 306, right? And if you check the output for the third input object, it is nothing but the same, right? 306, okay? Now we will come down and we will just comment out the console.log statements. So I will just comment out this. We will comment out line number 45 also, line number 49 as well. Okay, now we will clear the terminal and we are going to write here what node 89 challenge and we will hit enter. If you see, we got here what 10, 14 and 306. That is nothing but our exact output, right? 10, 14 and 306, correct? So this is what was needed and we have met our question expectation, okay? Now we will have a quick recap of this particular question. So let us read out the question. We have to write a JS function to calculate the sum of all even numeric values in an object, right? And here they have provided the 3 test cases, right? Then we came at line number 12 and 13 and we broke our important part of the question and we wrote it over here. And also we defined our function name as what? Sum even numeric values, right? So we understood how we are reaching to this particular output, right? And then on the basis of that, we wrote our complete approach, right? So what we did, the first thing, we extracted the values from an object, right? By using our Object.values method, right? After that, what we did, we extracted the even numeric values, right? By using our filter method. So what does our filter method is going to do? It creates a new array with all the elements that passes a test provided by a callback function, correct? And then we wrote here our condition also. So what was our condition? That it should be a number, right? So for that, we checked the type, correct? And then for an even value check, what we did, we wrote here our element should be completely divisible by 2, correct? That is what we have written and this should be together, right? That is why we used our AND operator also. And then this was our complete condition which we have wrote inside our callback function. And then finally we got our even numeric values, right? That is nothing but our 2, 8. After that, what we did, we calculated our sum using a reduce method. So what does the reduce method do? It is going to work on each and every element of an array resulting into a single output value, right? And we got our final sum. We also understood how the working is going to be done inside our reduce method, right? And then finally we printed our sum, correct? So that is nothing but our final output. Then at line number 41, we wrote our function and our function name was what? Sum even numeric values, correct? And to that, we were passing our input object as a params, right? As a obj. Then at line number 42, we just consoled here our obj that whether we are receiving our correct input object or not. Then we wrote here to extract the values, right? So we wrote here what? Our Object.values method, and to that we were passing our obj and we consoled it out and we tested in the terminal as well. Then we extracted our even numeric values, right? By writing our filter method, and in that we wrote our condition, right? So whatever the condition will be passed out, we are going to get the true values on the basis of that, right? And we even that tested in the terminal. After that, we just calculated the sum by using our reduce method. And finally, at line number 53, we printed our final output, right? Then at line number 55, 56, and 57, we invoked our function 3 times by passing our 3 different input objects, right? And we got our exact output. So we will clear this terminal and we are going to rerun it one more time. So I will write here what? Node 89 challenge. And if you see, we got our exact output, right? So that is what our question was demanding and we have done the same, okay? Now I will tell you guys why this challenge is useful, because it improves our skills in object manipulation and using our array methods like filter and reduce, okay? And it's a great practice for data processing and aggregation task in the real world application. Also, it is excellent for interview preparation, which involves data handling and manipulation challenges. So that's all, guys, for today. Keep coding and keep improving your JavaScript skills. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more daily challenges. And I will see you tomorrow with another exciting challenge. So thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye bye.